Oh my goodness, you sweet little handsome thing. You look at you. You're just a crazy little handsome thing. Just adorable, aren't you? Where did my tea go? Oh, right there, right in my face. Ugh. Cool. Oh. Well, hi. Well, fuck you. Well, fuck you too. Jerk. Come here. Come here, dude. Come on. Come on. Okay. Fine. Really? Are you... Dude, get over here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come here. You keep stepping back. Oh my god. You know what? Fuck you too then. Fuck you too then. Jerk. God. What a little jerk. What? You don't want to be held onto and loved and like cuddled up with? You little jerk. Like seriously? Where, I kinda need a liner now, do I? Did I even bring that with me? Or do I have to go run all the way to my room to go grab it? Yep, I do. Son of a bitch. I guess I'm having to come right up all up in your grill now, huh? Here. Hey, you're so bouncy. Prancing around all over the place, aren't you, right now, huh? Little psycho ball. What a little psycho ball. My goodness. Yeah, you're a psycho mutt. Oh my goodness. Man, really? Alright. Yes, can I help you? Look at that most pretty little face of yours. Yes. Good old wake and bake. Good first hit of the day. Feels so nice and good. Anyway, might as well see what been going down for a little bit before I decide to do some errands for the day. All that fun shit. I should give my errands minimal as fuck today. I'm just gonna grab my money, hit the dispo, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I think that's pretty much my routine for today. Go grab my monies, do a little bit of grocery shopping, baby, hit the dispo, then just head home. Because, this fucking heat, dude. It's not like the peak of the day yet, so it's not like totally hot in here yet. But it will. And it's gonna suck. Ugh. But alas, just have to suffer with it because of this stupid fucking heatwave shit. And it's only gonna be hotter tomorrow. Just looking at the old weather. See how that old weather's doing. Excessive heat warnings. Oh, it's only 92 right now. Feels like 95. I guess the peak of the day is going to be 96 today. Ugh. Still pretty shitty. And tomorrow is going to be like fucking 100. Ugh. Then Saturday, 102. Oh my god. Fuck me, dude. Then 98. And then Monday, it just drops to 88. And then 83, 81, 79. Ugh. At least there's going to be a nice little moment of respite. I mean, it's still going to be warm, but hell, at least it's going to be definitely significantly colder than it has been right now. Here, get some background music up. Here, Oh, this is cool. Oh, sure this isn't too loud. Should be good. That should be good. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, I'm on. I was like, where the hell did my dog go? That dog is so quiet. For the most part. Little Sukov. Kind of wonder if I want to take him for a walk today. Just because knowing this heat, he's probably not going to be exactly 100% too keen on it. So, even though I'd be walking him for a little bit, I'm not 100% too sure if I really want to do that. Just because with it being hot, I don't want him overheating himself. I mean, it's not that big of a walk. Yeah, I might as well walk him. Not tomorrow, though. Tomorrow's going to be just too hot. Unless, I don't know, I might take him to the river. Have Sukov dive in the limit. That'd definitely be a little bit better of a result, I think. Because he would enjoy that. Oops. Shit. I'll play that next. Sweet. How dare YouTube not notify me that the great and powerful Oscar is streaming? Well, it's YouTube. It's shitty like that. I mean, what do you expect? I'm just gonna have to like pop in every now and then and just see if I happen to be or not. I mean, that's the only real thing I can expect, you know, for YouTube at least. It's just like, well, hope it sends it out there and the algorithm will kind of have it be pushed. I know at least so when it comes to like some stuff with like DFF and shit, apparently I do get recommended every now and then to people because of that. So just because being active in their community and shit like that as well. So I mean, yeah, it's like I'm not utterly totally oppressed by the algorithm, so that's at least a good sign. I think just because I'm so consistent and just do these at least once a fucking day, I think just by the proxy it kind of has to have YouTube kind of like at least have maybe one thing out there if it's tangentially related to like the Amazing Atheist or some shit. I mean, especially if like sometimes I might react to content that's from DFF or some shit like that. So dude, I get more DP notifications too, dude. I'm not even subscribed to them anymore, and I still do. It's just like, what? It's like honestly at this point I'm just like not really that interested in DP anymore. And yet, I still get recommended their shit. It's like, okay. I mean, it's like it's not like I haven't watched them in forever. Like, I have tuned in, every now and then. But it just ends up being kind of the same shit. Where it's just like, eh. It just kind of comes road and just like, bleh, after a while. At least for me, just because it's like, they're usually just doing the same shit. Like, legit. Going after, like, kind of fucking on the same type of crazy people, just very vague-ass, talks of the news and politics that's, like, more or less just kind of fucking around with it and joking about it more than maybe having, like, a commentary about it or something like that. So, it's like, it's whatever. Like, I definitely got no ill will to Billy or, to Ben or whatever the fuck. It's just not much of this my thing anymore. When they have good guests on, otherwise I'm just meh. It's pretty much the same thing for me. Like, if there's a name I recognize that they have on there, or they're reacting to somebody that I'm pretty familiar with, then I might. But beyond that, I mean, I'm not really. I mean, honestly, if anything, I've definitely just been enjoying more of what, like, TJ's been doing and, like, what DFF's been kind of doing anyway. Because they've been more willing to expand and, like, experiment and do shit like that. And lately, TJ seems like he's been kind of been more open to, try to branch out, to other people. At least, when it came to talking to some of his, at least the two podcasts that, were kind of critical of one of his videos. And uploaded that as a discussion on his channel. Like a 401 thing. And frankly, honestly, those dudes that he was having that 401 discussion with just strike me as a bunch of internet shitposters. Just in podcast form. Because, like, they're just like, it's kind of unfair and uncharitable to, paint everybody on the right wing as racist and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I'm just like sitting here like, is it the left doing that, or is it themselves? Like, I ain't the one who's saying that we should be a Christian nationalist nation or, like, a white Christian nation or shit like that. It ain't the left saying that shit. It ain't the fucking left pushing that shit, so it's like, how's that uncharitable? That's literally what the fuck they want. And it's what they advocate for. Considering that they're essentially, at this point, very blatantly open about it because they don't need to hide their cards anymore. They have, like, at least the comfortability of the Supreme Kangaroo Court and a lot of the influence by motherfuckers on the right in the Republican Party being so boisterous as they are that they don't give a fuck. So it's like, what's this weird shit that, like, it's like, there's only, like, a small dissension of, like, Republicans that are racist. Most of them actually aren't. They actually aren't, like, kind of shitbags. I'm just like, what bubble you fucking living in? And TJ was using anecdotes to try to defend the point, but frankly, they're 100% merited. Like, I mean, they were trying to fuck on him for his anecdotes, and in hindsight, he was kind of like somewhat agreeing with the point of not maybe using anecdotes as much. But especially when it comes to that shit, no, like, it honestly is very much meritable. It's like, what, you think the little anecdotes of, like, what a bunch of chuckle fucking far-right conservatives, saying shit, like, what, you don't think that has merit? Because they're not going to be openly, publicly saying that shit as like a statistic or, you know, for like polling data. They just say it. You can't really just like, statistically like break down, you know, that shit, you know, if people just blurt it out as an opinion randomly. So you kind of have to rely on anecdotes, at least to a degree, including at least to a lot of, you know, cases and different evidence and incidents that happen from these type of people, including the advocacies of the policies that they push. So it's like there's just a lot of various different things that anecdotes pretty much vindicate and enforce to when it comes with a lot of this shit. But it was like, nah, just utterly dismiss it like it means nothing. It's like it can. Anecdotes aren't like the end-all be-all, absolutely. But especially when there's already things kind of in place that kind of vindicate a lot of that case or the specific point. And it basically is also backed up by the same evidence of, like, oh yeah, you know, people, you know, who are more right-leaning will be disproportionately far-right religious or forced birth or whatever the fuck. And my past experiences of a bunch of conservatives pretty much enforce that. Maybe my anecdote in my own personal experience has a point, at least to a degree. Doesn't mean anomalies don't exist though, but still. I got called a bot earlier for saying I won't vote for Dems if they won't keep their promises. A bot? Well, whoever that person is exceptionally stupid, because it's more likely than not that person's bot. Oh, you don't want to, you know, consistently vote blue like a, you know, just a fucking little drone? Oh, wow. You must be a bot, huh? Vote blue no matter who comment. Yeah, honestly, chances are it probably was. There's a lot of people that are legit like that, but I mean, considering that most people, especially, aren't exactly that, you know, fond of the Democrats or Republicans, really just the current state of affairs, period. I really, like, I'm like, the idea that there's people that actually hold that idea are pretty slim. I mean, they do exist, but yeah, it's like, honestly, at least in my own personal experiences, far, far less in comparison to, like, 2016 or some shit. Definitely think there was a lot more people who were more in favor of that idea back then in comparison to today. Let's see what random things could be on the tube here. Saw a couple different things here. And Biden's still unpopular that even corporate Dems are distancing themselves. Wow. See, this kind of vindicates my whole idea that, like, oh yeah, you know, people who are more actually in favor of blue no matter who, like, this really, really makes it a lot more like, harder to believe. It's like, yeah, there's definitely people who are going to vote blue no matter who when Biden's just so fucking unpopular, even amongst his own corporate lackeys. Yep, okay. Steps being a sad boy because insurance sales are harder than he thought. Oh yeah, especially when most people probably can't afford it. Yeah. I'm sure it's a lot more harder than he realized. They say you have to talk to people and shit to get paid in insurance, and he's a grumpy old boomer. Yeah, and he probably doesn't want to, like, you know, go out and have to talk to random people, because if anything, chances they're also going to be grumpy old boomers, and they're not going to want to hear it. And they're probably going to just tell him to go away. Like, Yeah, I honestly kind of knew he was gonna get, like, you know, a rude awakening on it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure he's gonna make it big on that one. I mean, it's not like he probably wouldn't, but fuck. Yeah, guess what? You actually have to pull yourself by the bootstraps, buddy. You want to make the money, better get to it. Yeah, does you realize that ain't a salary thing? It's based on commission. So for every insurance sale that he makes, that's when he gets paid. Just the virtue of being a salesman doesn't actually mean he gets paid. I mean, I guess he would get like a bare minimal salary from that, but how you actually make the money is via the fucking commissions that you make by selling the insurance. So if you can't do that, then he ain't making shit. $800. That's actually not terrible, but his biggest for insurance sales, that sounds kind of small. That sounds fucking juicy for someone like me. But like for him though, shit, dude, it's only getting 300. Fucking really? Wow, dude. Is that a week or like fucking every 2 weeks or some shit? For reference, I get like about $350 every week. If every paycheck about gets paid weekly though, so he's getting paid a little less than I am. I'm getting more money every week than he is. What the fuck, bro? Oh yeah, I bet those insurance sales are going great, huh? Like, dude, what the hell, bro? I'm actually making more money than your stepdad right now doing the work that I do. And yeah, it isn't like the most fulfilling fucking shit, but fuck. I mean, at least I ain't gonna be a sad boy about it. It's like, damn. At least you're doing honest work. I mean, yeah, honestly. This cat seems some shit. Holy fuck, dude. What's with this cat's eyeballs? Jesus. This fucking cat. God damn. Yeah, that cat's got like the most severe case of PTSD in those eyes. Jesus. What the fuck? Oh. There we go. Alright, I think I got my shit back. FY NSFW, I think. Non-flashbacks. So this happened. Oh yeah, this is... I mean, I guess technically this would be okay for YouTube's sake, just because there is videos of horses doing this on YouTube, but yeah, I'm not gonna show it. Yeah, that horse was, I think he was a little boned up and kind of needed some assistance, and unfortunately, the only assistants that were around were humans, and the horse was like, well, fuck it. Literally. And these cops are just like, whoa, wait, what? Oh, shit. Rusty, our bloody horse police stallion is getting a little rousy now. God damn it. You see the meme I sent you earlier? Yeah, I saw that. Horse, you're my bitch now, piggy. Hey. Oh. Love hearing Sukkot speak. That's not really speaking, that's just more like grumpled mumbling. Oh. Yeah. I boofed back at him. I mean, I've boofed back at him. I mean, I'll do shit like that to him sometimes. because he goddamn deserves it. He's a little prick. He's a little jerk like that. Hey! Hey! What is this random thing? Guardian community post. Experience on foot on my life, competing countries where it's illegal to be mean. Tom Daly condemns homophobic Commonwealth ahead of King. What? Oh my god, this community post is huge. I guess they just copy paste the article here, which actually is just kind of nice. If I feel like that as a privileged man, I can't imagine what day-to-day life is like for LGBT. Okay. Wait, so is Tom Daly not a gay person? 35 of the 56 Commonwealth of the member states. Wait, there's that many? What the fuck? So 56 criminalize same-sex relations. Well, that's lame and cringe and gross. That's half the countries in the world that outlaw homosexuality. 7 Commonwealth nations have maximum penalties of life imprisonment under laws imposed by Britain in the 19th century when it was a colonial power. Gross. Every single person should be free to live their true authentic life no matter what. Okay, so basically it's just like, yeah, half of the fucking, like, what's left of the British Empire is still like, fuck you for being queer, boy. And just fucking, yeah. So, yay. Lame. I don't know why I'm getting replies on every single comment, but YouTube won't notify me when you get live. YouTube's fucked. More kitties. Oh my goodness, kitties. More sweet kitties. What is these? Are they gonna cook these kitties? These kitties gonna be all cooked? I don't know if those cats are exactly too appreciative of being in that bowl. Those cats are all like, why is there something covering me? Whoa, there's the light. Where am I? Where do I go? I'm gonna get out of here. And then they get kind of poked and prod to stay inside, and they're just like, what? No. Eh. I love little kids. They're just so damn cute. Especially when you have them as a little pet, and then you get to watch them grow as a big old adult poof ball of handsome, majestic fluffness. Someone in reply said that kids might try to cook their cat to make him a different color. We're not that stupid as a species, though, I hope. Yeah, I don't think, like, people would actually be stupid enough to try to, like, cook their cat to change their colors. Because, that would be just... That would just be ridiculous. I've thought of, like, some stupid shit as a kid, but I've never thought that. It's like, yeah, here, let me just, like, change the color of my cat by just, like, putting it in a pot and cooking it. Let's sit there and, a nice simmer for 3 hours. Stir, accordingly, It's like, add seasons when necessary. God damn it. My parents didn't drop me on my head that often. Luckily, I only was once, and it wasn't because of my parents. It was actually because I fell off a bed. I hit, like, a knob of a drawer, like one of those, like, big-ass wooden fucking drawers and like one of those little knobs and shit that you would pull up. Fell off a bed and bonk, popped my head on that. I had to get a couple stitches for it, but apparently, especially from my mom said, apparently I loved the fucking fact that I had stitches in me. I was just like, I have a bandage on my head. I have stitches in my head. Awesome. I guess I took it like a champ, I suppose, given the circumstances, where I'm just like, obviously, ow, I'm in pain and hurting and crying and shit when I get my head bonked, but going to the hospital, make sure I'm all good, and being like, yeah, it's a little bit of a gash. We could just stitch that real quick and you'll be fine. And then at that part, I'm just all fine and hunky-dory. If anything, I loved it. My head was too wide. They had to vacuum me out of my mom. They had to literally vacuum you out of you? Your mama? They had to, like, literally vacuum you out. I accidentally made my brother hit his head on our foosball table. My brother accidentally broke my collarbone when I was a kid. When I was in, like, 2nd grade, he pushed me, and I hit, like, the wooden, like, frame of the couch. It fucking just, like, bam. It hit me, like, right back here and caused my collarbone up here to crack. So they had to stick a Hoover hose up there in later part. I know, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It's like, what did they do? Stick it like a Hoover hose up there or some shit? Did they get a Dyson? My dad used to make jokes and my head was extra wide like Stewie's. Well, at least you don't have his evil villain genius like Stewie, though. That's kind of the, like, one thing he missed out. Missed out on his evil villain geniusness. While also being a gay baby. Which I guess that part's half true, but, I mean, the evil villain geniusness, though. I mean, well, I don't know, maybe it's in there. I mean, I don't know if you made crazy little science experiments in your room. Maybe you did. Damn, first thing you did was be a doctor? That's fucking great. This isn't my story, but I actually remember this from a chick I knew in high school. She, when she was born, she straight up, like, the first thing she did was literally puke all over her mom. It's just, like, the first thing she did when she was born is, like, just, like, all over her. It's like, goddamn, how does, like, a baby even have, like, some form of capacity of shit in there for that even be the case, but yeah, it happened, and it was confirmed by her mom. She did do that. I was just like, damn. I don't even think, like, the pee thing could top that, honestly. First thing you do when you're born is just puke all over your mom, just out of vitriolic spite, or some shit. It's like, thank you for having me in you for 9 months. You can have some of that back. Some of the stuff you were feeding me in those 9 months are gross. I also don't know what I did because for me it was a C-section. Well, honestly, I think the first thing I did was literally just, like, torture my mom, actually. That's why the C-section was the thing. Because I literally kept her in labor for, like, well more than, like, 2 days. Eventually, she was just like, you know what, just shove me full of morphine and get the sucker out. And eventually, they just did that because I was stubborn. I wanted to be in there for a little longer. It's like, no, it's nice and comfy in here. It's nice and warm. I want to bake in here for a little bit more. Fuck you. Apparently, as a small baby, I was fascinated with it being worked, so... And would do so on anyone who tried to pick me up. You are an evil little fucking baby. You are an evil baby. Man, maybe you did have the Stewie Griffin fucking evil genius shit going on. Or at least the evil part of it, because goddamn, that's just fucked. It's like, how dare you pick me up, human? My dad supposedly weaponized you? He weaponized you against people he didn't like. You became a fucking bioweapon. A biological weapon. Our moms keep us in their stomachs for 9 months and don't wonder why we like to oversleep. Yeah, no shit. To my grandmother. Oh my god. He weaponized you against your grandmother. Honestly, for like, if anyone, like, you know, when you were growing up tells you stories about that shit, you can always just say that, hey, my dad weaponized me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I mean, it's like, hey, my pops just weaponized me against you, that's all. It wasn't my fault. I didn't do nothing. I was just an innocent baby. I always used to say he was still pissed at his mom for stealing a pound of weed from him when he was like 15. I mean, I would be pissed too, and I probably would hold like a little bit of a grudge, but I mean, I'd get the fuck over it after a certain point, you know what I mean? Like, I still use it as like a joke to be like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I could totally trust you like that one time you took that weed from me. Yeah, I'll just make some jokes and shit, but I mean, at a certain point, I just get the fuck over it. Because I definitely, like, if that happened to me, I would definitely be like, you know, definitely be, you know, saying shit to mom every now and then about it. But at a certain point, it would just become more playful. It's like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I guess, I mean, especially being in a legal state, I guess it is easier for me to just say that, but in an illegal state, that pound a week could last you a fucking year. Make sure Sukov is inside. I'm pretty sure he is, though. Yeah, he is. Like how YouTube's recommending to me just like 960-pound crossbow versus 150-pound crossbow. Tested. It's like one has a lighter pull and the other one doesn't. There you go. One's medieval, one's modern. There you go. Medieval one's the one that has a fucking ridiculous amount of poundage on the pole. Modern ones don't. There you go. I was actually watching a kind of a cool video of like a traditional style crossbow from this fucking YouTube video that does like a bunch of like, they're called Modern History TV, but they basically just do like a bunch of medieval history shit. And it's honestly really, really cool. And they had like a little video on crossbows and stuff, and there was actually a lot of stuff that were kind of going wrong for the video, and in part of it they were like, you know, we were thinking about scrapping it, but just because of, you know, some of the stuff that went wrong, it actually, you know, was, that in itself was informative, so we just kind of kept it in there, and then just kind of started explaining about like, you know, what, you know, were the flaws, especially when it came to crossbows, and mainly the one he had was a siege crossbow, which was like 1,000 pounds of bow pull or string pull and shit, or string tension, I think. So those ones you have to have like this, like, I forgot what he called it, but like this thing that would have like these ropes that would connect to like a hook, like these little metal hooks that would connect to the rope, and then you'll have like this little square thing that will connect to the bottom of the crossbow, and that little like horseshoe looking thing at the very bottom, that's where you put your boot, and then you would just like have to, like, you know, wind it up, because trying to pull it yourself would literally be impossible. Like, you just wouldn't be able to do it unless you were like a ridiculous ass strongman. And of course, people at crossbows weren't probably strongmen. They were, you know, those dudes were probably manning like fucking catapults or some shit. Honestly, like, old stock crossbows are actually pretty fucking cool. Especially, like, the Chinese repairing crossbows. Those things are, like, exceptionally pretty fucking whack and crazy looking. They're not really effective as, like, a weapon in itself, but if you have, like, a whole, like, line of them and you have them all just shooting a bunch at once, it's definitely good as a deterrent. Because it just looks like you have 1,000 angry bees, you know, coming at you, basically. It's like, it might not necessarily kill you, but it would probably hurt you and probably, like, you know, penetrate some of your armor and shield, thus weakening it. And at that point, you know, it's just like, I don't want to necessarily be in a battle where I have a bunch of fucking little, like, bolts. Sukov, get over here. What are you doing? Sukov, come here. Here. Come here. Come up here. Yeah. No, up here, yeah. Yeah, Bubby. Go on. There you go. Well, you gotta have to, like, struggle forward a little bit. Oh my god, you weak little fool. Alright, fine, take it. Yeah, legit grudge for decades for that. Good lord. Grandma didn't care if he smoked because she smoked. She just had a bad habit of pinching his bags. Well, that's even more of a bitch move. It's just like, ask for some. It's like, what the fuck? That's just a fucking bitch-ass move right there. I mean, for fucking, like, there ain't no harm in asking. Worse, what? Worse is gonna be no. And if you have a fucking pound of weed, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be okay with giving some. Good. Oh my god, what a moron. Well, not really a moron, just an asshole. Asshole granny. This 70s weed. Still. Same premise applies. If you really want some, just ask. Or buy some or something. Shit. The community post has a pop quiz. How many feet are in a mile? There's 1,037, 500, or 5,288, 5,280, 6,201. Oh, I think it's, fuck. I'm pretty sure it's 5,280. Yep. Yeah. Now, where's that stupid damn metric system at?
Get back in your chair over here. Be out of the way.
Took off. I literally gave you that thing for you to, like, not be in the way. Took off.
Yeah, go that way. Come on, you're getting on my last nerve, dog.
Here, go sit over there. The best it had was Acapulco Gold or a Thai stick. I'm pretty sure Thai stick is THAI, if I remember correctly. But I kind of know what you mean. Oh, what do I got right now? I got this, like, pretty decent ass little strain called Peak Summer. I'm definitely gonna buy some more of that. I'm gonna stock up with some of that shit. Stuff's an ass. Got enough for last night and for today. But I need to make sure I can stock up for the rest of the week. That's why payday is a good day indeed. I just hate how it's in the middle of a fucking heat wave. Because I don't want to be dealing with that shit. And honestly, just sitting here for less than an hour, I can already tell the heat is rising in here. It's not like unbearable, but I can feel it. I didn't remember my stepdad's friendly enough, but he isn't a raging dick to me. But damn, he could use a joint when he's so wound up. Nah, yeah, like, I mean, everyone, and there's, like, I think everyone could, at least, you know, to some extent. But especially, like, a lot of, you know, old disgruntled boomer types and shit. Why don't garages have AC? I think it's just because there isn't stronger, you know, like, insulation in garages. So if you were to put an AC in a garage, it wouldn't really do much. I mean, having some fans and stuff actually, you know, helps out and can be pretty nice, but we put AC in everything. Yeah, up here, not so much, but luckily when this house was built up, we made sure that AC was installed. So, luckily we're pretty all nice and good with that. So we thought about that ahead, like, well, you know, 20 years ago. Slept in a garage for a year or two and I lived with my dad. Ugh. I mean, garages aren't bad, but if you're just a hot, humid environment or just in an area that's hot or some shit, then it's just like, eh. What type of fucking noise was that? See, that's secular talk. See a couple things from today. Dave Rubin checkmated by a guest in his own stupidity. Rave Dooman, you can never catch a break, can you, buddy? And it's adorable. It's so adorable. There.
Come on! This clip is the best. So, Dave Rubin had a guest on here, and in a recent conversation with Jordan Peterson, Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson made the point of, like, look, the
Is this so quiet? Oh, that's why.
Is a man and a woman. Like, that's the ideal marriage. And I remember hearing that thinking, ideal? The word ideal. Really, we're going to use the word ideal? So it's better than? Because that's what ideal means. It's better than. So, a heterosexual married couple is better than a gay married couple? So, I mean, look, the next logical question is, okay, is a marriage between people of the same race ideal and that it's better than an interracial marriage? Do you really want to have these conversations? Okay. So Rubin brings
I mean, at least to people like Rubin, yes.
Up that point in the context of this conversation with this other guy. And honestly, he gets checkmated by his own stupidity. He sets a trap for himself. It's real. I've never seen anything like this before. Let's watch.
A family generally is a father and a mother and then children. Are there ways, that is the norm. That is the norm, and I would say in some ways this is going to sound a little bit weird for a certain amount of people, but that is sort of the ideal. But in the world, not everything is always the ideal. So in the family that we are going to raise, we're obviously going to have two fathers. However, that is not me saying, oh, women are not important, or that there is no difference between men and women or anything like that. And it will it look different than the traditional family? Yes. But how many people do the traditional family?
Oh my god, I love how he's just trying to, like, you know, matrix his way into trying to justify this before even justifying it. Oh my god.
The best of the mother and the father, and don't do anything to screw up their kids psychologically or physically or anything else. So I think you can say that, oh, there is the norm and the ideal, and then there are things around that and approximate to it that are pretty good too. And the best that I can do is do the best that I can to make something good happen.
What I hear from your things right now is that on the ideal, you would prefer that your children will be heterosexual.
So, with your ideal, you would believe that your children should be heterosexual. Oh my god, I don't think anything, is probably bad about this dude entirely, but I mean, that accent though.
Based on Ruben's own words, if it's ideal to be straight married, well, you prefer your kids be the ideal because you want what's best for them, right? See what he says.
Sexual and to live in the classic ideal family, men and women.
Well, I wouldn't prefer. Well, that's not exactly what I'm saying. I don't know that I would prefer.
So exactly what I'm saying. I wouldn't necessarily prefer that.
When I said the thing, it sounded softer in my mind, but the reality of it put back to me in a more crass, direct way.
Might have to check that out in a sec.
I'm kind of uncomfortable with the direct interpretation of what my words mean.
That they would be. I would prefer that I am able to raise two children who are functional adults who have an understanding of the way the world works and can find some meaning in their lives and live a life that's important to them. If ultimately...
You could literally do that in any stable type of household, whether it's like two women, two men, or a man and a woman, or anything in between. Like, you can do that and have a gay couple raise kids, right?
They both turn out to be straight, that's fantastic. If one of them turns out to be gay, that's fine too.
So wait.
Oh my god, I love the verbiage she was using there. It's like, oh, if both of them were straight, that's fantastic. If one of them was gay, well, that's fine too, I guess. My god. He just can't help but even beat himself up. So I don't feel bad for him, really. I got my stepdad hooked on Victoria too, however, he likes to flip countries fascist for some reason. I used to do that when I first started playing, like, Hearts of Iron 3 and Hearts of Iron 4 and shit, so... I mean, don't feel too bad, but, if the trend continues, though, I would probably, want to look at that.
Hey, it's either way, it's great. So now all of a sudden it's equal, and nothing's an ideal. But a minute ago it's ideal. It's the ideal to be straight. He just hasn't thought any of this shit through. He's just a babbling conservative talking head.
That is a punching bag for literally everybody and himself.
Who's too dumb to understand the consequences of the arguments that he makes.
I think he does. He just is like one of these weirdos that just is like self-deprecating but wants to like kind of seek acceptance anyway and shit. And of course, a lot of the crowd he surrounds himself with is going to deprecate him. And because he's very self-deprecating in itself, just with him alone, especially with just this clip, I mean, he's going to just continue to have himself surrounded by that because I'm guessing he just has a thing for just being a punching bag, honestly. That's why, frankly, I don't feel bad, because in a way, I feel like he likes it. I feel like he actually enjoys just being, a punching bag for literally everybody, even himself. Where it's yeah, I'm not actually, the ideal of what my kids should be raised in, but it's fine, It's because I'm actually, obviously a broken person. Would someone fuck me, please?
The ideal, not... If it would happen, you would, of course, you would embrace them if they were gay, of course. But this is not the question.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you think the ideal that you would want your children to be?
Yeah. I guess we're getting hung up maybe a little bit on the word want. I would understand.
It depends on what your definition of is. Was that just Dave Rubin's, like, what your definition of is moment right there? We're kind of getting hanged up on the word want here. It's like, what? Okay.
The reality of reality is that the life...
The reality of reality?
Wait, hold on. The reality of the reality... Huh? What does that even mean? That's like he just had a Jordan Peterson too. Like he did a fucking Clint and a Peterson within a span of like 5 seconds. Jesus.
Supposedly, although I don't think life is necessarily supposed to be
These people argue over the meaning of the word the. Oh, dude, they totally would.
easy.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Dave, please stop. You have to stop, man. Look, here's the bottom line. This is what I imagine... Honestly, I imagine 100% of my audience thinks this, but maybe 99% of it thinks this. Marriage is marriage. Love is love. It doesn't matter as long as you are consenting adults. Have at it. Have at it. There is no hierarchy among those consenting adults in terms of arbitrary characteristics like race or sexual orientation. And that's the default position. And he's gone so down that conservative rabbit hole that clearly he semi-convinced himself, no, the ideal is a straight couple. Well, if you use the word ideal, that means it's better than, which means it's supreme, which means it's almost like a heterosexual supremacist position. That everything else, yeah, you can exist, but let's not pretend like you're really equal to what the ideal is. You're putting yourself in like a second-class citizenship type position.
I mean, honestly, straight up, but that's what he kind of wants for himself. He doesn't mind being like a second-class little puppeteer, you know, or not puppeteer, but just a puppet for puppeteers and shit, to just basically be like, see, I'm one of the good ones. I mean, he ain't the only one that does this shit. He's definitely like the biggest example.
And that is disrespecting his own marriage and his own family. And it's so sad, because when...
Low-key, though, as, you know, in addition to the punching bag shit, like, when his kids are born, his husband should divorce him and just be like, no, I'm taking kids, fuck you. Like, you're literal self-deprecating fuck. You literally are just, like, letting our kids basically be punching bags on top of yourself. Fuck you. No.
Bonded to his point, putting it in a more direct way, he balked. Because then he realized, that sounds ugly, and that sounds wrong. Correct. I wish you would step back from that ledge, Dave Rubin. Please stop, for the love of God. Now, I got another Dave Rubinsies clip here for you. Dave was at the Turning Point USA conference.
God, he was there too? I'm not surprised.
Conference. And Dave Rubin clip says here, a concerned Christian asked Dave Rubin why he finds conservatism so appealing if it's built on values that reject homosexuality. And what is he going to do to ensure that other gay people who join conservatism don't spread their beliefs onto others? That's an interesting question. This is probably some young far-right Christian kid. And he's like, well, hold on. You're signing on to our worldview. Our worldview includes that homosexuality is really not good. So if you're in the movement, how do we stop other gay conservatives from spreading the belief,
spreading the grooming gay around,
gayness to others? This is when you know it might be in bed with the wrong people. Anyway, so let's see what Dave says.
Crazy question, but what would you...
So what'd you, Kyle, you boomer?
Trying to up the, here we go.
You, if I may ask this, are you gay? I heard you were gay. Now...
He's joking, obviously.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, but this is the reason why I ask.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, and one thing that really draws me to conservatism is seeing the Christian foundations for this nation. How...
Gross.
Right.
Oh my God, I hate that point because there isn't any.
Given from God, not from government. Now, what I'd ask you is,
By the way, that's so made up.
I mean, it's beyond bullshit. There's like multiple founding fathers have written multiple papers and multiple fucking things, and have also had major influence on basically the whole premise of separation of church and state and the fucking, oh my god. I mean,
But that guy said it like that was a real convincing thing to me. What was convincing about it?
a little annoying how Kyle goes out of his way to defend Joe Rogan. I am too, a little bit, I will admit, but luckily, I mean, this ain't a Joe Rogan clip.
From Yahweh. Oh, that's so profound. Now I agree with you. I mean, brain's not operating at it's not operating too well in that situation if you find that convincing or that appealing.
It's just basically operating on two neurons.
As a gay person, how would that seem appealing to you? Because you might think, oh, well, Christianity says, I can't be this way. So what would draw you to it? And how would you suggest for, like, other gay people to say, no, this is a good thing because this is just about giving us the freedom to do whatever we can do and not shove it on someone else?
I should have ended on the hug, huh? That would have been easier.
So Dave knows, like, fuck. God damn it. Come on, I try to pander to you guys so much. Don't ask me tough questions like this. They kind of expose my grip.
On the hug. Okay, we got to do it real quick. I'll try to do it in 45 seconds. Well, look, this nation, which is a nation founded on Judeo-Christian principles, is a nation of individuals.
Literally not.
That there are going to be people here who live a little bit differently than you, and I am not here to try to destroy the founding of this nation, the core principles of this nation. I don't think everyone has to be a Christian. I don't think everyone has to be a Jew or a Muslim, but I think there are basic ideas that our founders fundamentally understood that we cannot forget. So what I would say is you are absolutely entitled to your own personal religious beliefs as everyone else is. I would say, and maybe this is a little more of the libertarian side of me, but I think this is totally congruent with the founders. You want to have room
Am I following those balls good enough for you there, Christian?
for the other people. And if they live in a way that is honest and decent.
The founders didn't view women as equal and had slaves.
That they raped.
So that's just such a dumb point.
So, yeah.
Defends
No.
their love of country and does all of the things that are probably pretty freaking close to the way you live, then that is an extraordinary country.
A little 1 minute late on 420, but fuck
we
it.
don't all come from the same place. We don't all eat the same foods. We don't all have the exact same accents or clothes or dances or music.
See, this is the pickle that Dave Rubin's gotten himself in, and he's so dumb for going down this path and not realizing it.
Not really. I mean, honestly, he's honestly, like, couching it, honestly, pretty nice in word salady, but basically, essentially saying it's like, hey, look, I'm not here as a gay person trying to, like, destroy the foundations of traditional Christian fascistic values, basically, of what you think. I just basically want to say that it's, that, people like me probably will exist, and, it's okay that, that they do exist, that as long as they respect and entitle your opinion and blah, 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 and all this other vague nonsense, because, people have different interests in music, or food, or dances, or other weird vague nonsense that can be relatable. It's just basically the, how do you do, fellow kids meme, but for Christians.
At the same time, flirt with the Christian evangelical conservatism and maintain his, I'm like a libertarian conservative position. You can't do it, because those are contradictory. They're totally at odds. The more libertarian type conservatives are openly against the more evangelical Christian type conservatives. Why? Because they have a fundamental disagreement on so many different issues. Legalizing weed, for example. It's the Christian conservatives, the evangelicals, the far right, they're against that. That's different from the libertarian position. The whole live and let live thing that Dave Rubin talks about, for the love of God, it was 195,000. 195,000, wow, wrong. 195 Republicans in the House just voted against the right to contraception. So how do you, Dave Rubin, square that
Doesn't
circle?
exactly sound like, a very, large group of people that sound like they're for freedom or, like, libertine values and shit like that. Says the guy who always says that he's, like, more libertarian with his values.
oh yeah, I'm a libertarian conservative. It's all live and let live, bro. That's what I'm about. Then why are you not calling out the 195 Republicans who just voted against the right to contraception? Why are you not calling out the 157 Republicans who just voted against gay marriage? There's only 40-something that voted for it. And you're simping for these people?
I wonder, like, who are the ones who are okay with gay marriage but not contraception? Like, how's that work? Like, honestly, like, I mean, because there's far more, like, there was just far more fucking people that were just straight up, like, yeah, contraception, boo. But, like, less of these Republicans were like, gay marriage, boo. So it's like, some are like, yeah, gay marriage is okay. But contraception, boo! It's like, what? It's like, that includes, like, for gay people, too, you know that, right? Like, I mean, every now and then you don't know what might be going on in there, you know what I'm saying? So having the condom on probably is a good idea. But no, I guess, what, we can't have it either? Fuck you, then. Weirdos. Like, oh, we're okay with you existing, but no condoms, contraception, even for you, so fuck you. It's like, well, okay, then. Dude, I wonder what it would be like. I wonder how many Republicans would like go, like, you know, try to vote for anti-sodomy laws or whatever the fuck. And I wonder how many of those would also have voted for gay marriage as well. Be like, yeah, gay marriage is okay, but no sodomy laws, nope, we can't have those. Oh my god.
If you're gonna rep the libertarian conservative lane, you have to rep it. Which means you'll have to take on and disagree with the evangelical conservatives because
he doesn't have a concept of that because, again, he's a punching bag.
Disagree on a lot of shit. But he's been flirting with and playing footsies with the Christian conservatism without realizing it's sort of...
for hire? What, a sex worker? 500 to be like a min. Yeah, that'd be like minimal.
The libertarian conservatism. And so now
I better be getting paid for that shit.
Dance, but it's going to fall on deaf ears because you were just snuggling up to theocrats and saying that, you know, heterosexual marriage is the ideal. So he's in over his head so much. And it's so obvious to see. And he's trying to please everybody within that conservative bubble. But it's not possible. It's like trying to be at the same time like an anti-Trump conservative and a pro-Trump conservative. It's like, at some point, people are going to roll their eyes and be like, you don't even have a position on this, and you're just babbling, and you found a niche, and now you're lost. And that's what happened with Dave Rubin. Ever since I
feel like he's being just, maybe, in a weird way, a little bit too charitable, because, again, I just feel like he's just full on a fucking punching bag, including to himself. And surrounds himself with people that deprecate him and his identity and who he is. And... he does that to himself, and is totally fine with that. Hence why he just surrounds himself, you know, around these type of people and shit. Like, I don't necessarily think, you know, he's, like, naive or stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. I mean, he used to be, like, a lib or, like, a TYT dork, you know, for a while. Like, I mean, he obviously has an element of grift to it, but that's a part of it. Because he knows he can also at least, you know, maintain his financial income and shit, or even improve on it, you know, surrounding himself with people that deprecate him. Because for some reason, it is just that much easier to make fucking money on the right than it is on the left. I don't know what it is about right-wingers and conservatives that want to just, like, give their money away and redistribute it to fucking snake oil salesmen and fucking grifters and shit, but they do. It's like, I don't know where they get it, but... Here, I kind of want to see that thing I saw notification on. The human support bat, John Stewart. What's this? Shreds GOP cowards who have blocked the veteran healthcare expansion. Oh. Do tell, huh?
There's a tweet from Senator Rick Scott of Florida from yesterday. It's beautiful. And I'm sorry about the cursing, and let me say something beautiful to make it up to you. I was honored to join the USO today and make care packages for our brave military members in gratitude of their sacrifice and service to our nation. And there's a beautiful picture. I wish you could see it. He's standing with a little package. Did you get the package? I think it has M&Ms in it, and some cookies, and some moist towelettes. I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know what to say. I've been coming down here 10, 15 years. I'm used to the hypocrisy.
Why is he apologizing about cursing? I don't know. I mean, he hasn't even cursed at all, so I don't know why. I don't know.
From VFW. She sat in an office with Mitch McConnell and a war veteran from Kentucky, and he looked that man in the eyes and he said, and he lied.
That was a good impersonation.
Because Mitch McConnell yesterday
flipped.
I'm used to the lies. I'm used to the hypocrisy. Senator Pat Toomey won't take a meeting with the veterans groups. Sends out his chief of staff. I'm used to the cowardice. I've been here a long time. Senate's where accountability goes to die. These people don't care. They're never losing their jobs. They're never losing their health care. Pat Toomey didn't lose his job. He's walking away. God knows what kind of pot of gold he's stepping into to lobby this government to shit on more people. I'm used to all of it, but I am not used to the cruelty.
That was a snippet from Jon Stewart.
Well, I guess that's where the curse came in, but frankly, I don't think you need to apologize for shit. Honestly, based. Damn. Like, man, I love Jon Stewart, honestly. It's like, fuck, can we have you back? Can you, like, can you be president or something? Like, honestly, if John were to make a run for it, I'd fucking go for him, honestly, low-key. I mean, it's like, motherfucker's like one of the few people that exist in this country that actually, like, you know, is, you know, a popular figure, you know, is kind of a national, you know, figurehead to an extent. People don't know him, kind of a celebrity to an extent, but gives a fuck still. Like, he's just one of those few people that actually still gives a shit.
Capitol following news that GOP senators blocked a bill to expand health care for veterans.
Okay, now Mike is ridiculously loud. Will he ever solve that where he'll balance him with the other audio and shit and his, like, intro? Like, he is so fucking loud in comparison to everything else.
Come to expect from the modern GOP. I know that Jon Stewart says that this isn't necessarily his expectation, but this is my expectation. The cruelty, the barbarity is the point of the GOP, because that's how extreme they are.
Yeah.
But this is what they blocked. As The Guardian explains, the measure, called the Honoring Our Pact Act, would make it easier for veterans to access military care related to exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam and toxins from pits used to burn military waste in Iraq and Afghanistan. A version of the bill passed the Senate 84-14 earlier this year, but was sent back to the House for some technical corrections. It easily passed there, but on Wednesday, 25 Republican senators who previously supported the measure declined to move it forward. John Cornyn, a Texas Republican, told CNN Republicans did not back the measure because Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, was blocking votes on amendments Republicans wanted.
Yeah, I just want to just mention that this guy literally looks like a fucking ghoul. It's weird because he sounds so soft-spoken. I know. I mean, that's why I think I love about him so much, is because, like, he's able to, like, still have that, like, pissed off, you know, anger and shit, but make it, like, palatable for, you know, people to, like, listen and make it digestible for him to hear. Because there is, like, a sense where if he was just going, like, full on, like, you know, guns blazing, so to speak, and shit, you know, he would, in a sense, probably get a little, maybe more national tract of being like, oh shit, he went off, you know, but, I mean, he still did go off, but, I mean, it would probably be seen more as like, oh, see, he's, you know, going crazy, you know, just outright attacking the Senate, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like he's attacking the integrity of the Senate, and all this other shit. You know, but because he's more of a soft-spoken type of person, he doesn't really get that type of backlash.
Said Republicans wanted to negotiate more in order to
I mean, even though, like, it probably wouldn't matter either way, because Bernie's a soft-spoken person, and every now and then will be kind of like an angry grandpa for, like, 10 minutes, and they think he's, like, crazy and fucking unhinged and all that shit, so, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, it's not like it's saying that much, frankly.
contained in the bill. In other words, they're blocking this bill because they're mad at Chuck Schumer because he's not giving them what they want. And they're using sick veterans who they sent to war as bargaining chips. That is outrageous.
They always do.
I'm not surprised at all by this. At all. You know, these Republicans, they will vote for every single war. They will vote for every single military expansion.
War's a racket.
Questions asked.
It's by Smealy D. Butler. It's true as it was then. It's still true now, and way more so these days.
Nothing. But when it comes to helping sick veterans, they deny that responsibility. So Jon Stewart is going to touch on this point in the next clip.
These people thought they could finally...
Oh, there's more? Oh, hell yeah.
You think their struggles end because the PACT Act passes? All it means is they don't have to decide between their cancer drugs and their house. Their struggle continues.
This bill does a lot more than just give us health care.
Gives them health care, gives them benefits, lets them live.
Keeps veterans from going homeless, keeps veterans from becoming addicts, keeps veterans from committing suicide.
Senator Toomey's not going to hear that because he won't sit down with this man. Because he is a fucking coward.
Ooh. Oh.
You hear me?
Oh.
A coward. And like I say, I'm used to it. But this type of cruelty on those that we say we hold up as our most valued Americans, then what are we? Pat Toomey stood up there, Patriot Pat Toomey, excuse me, I'm sorry. I want to give him his propers. I want to make sure that I give him his propers. Patriot Pat Toomey stood on the floor and said, this is a slush fund. They're going to use $400 billion to spend on whatever they want. That's nonsense. I call bullshit. This isn't a slush fund. You know what's a slush fund? The OCO, the Overseas Contingency Operations Fund, $60 billion, $70 billion every year on top of $500 billion, $600 billion, $700 billion of a defense budget. That's a slush fund. Unaccountable. No guardrails. Did Pat Toomey stand up and say, this is irresponsible, the guardrails? No, not one of them did. They vote for it year after year after year. You don't support the troops, you support the war machine. That's all you care about.
You personally signed the proclamation to send me to war.
Boy, they haven't met a war they won't sign up for, and they haven't met a veteran they won't screw over. What the fuck are we?
Barbaric.
And now they're going to go away. Pat Toomey says, I've got veterans groups behind me. I call bullshit. These are the veterans groups. VFW, American Legion, IAVA, Wounded Warriors, DAV, and vets. They're all here. This is the veterans community, Senator. They don't stand behind you. In fact, you won't let them stand in front of you. Cowards, all of them. Cowards, all of them. And now they say, well, this will get done.
Just bring a tear to my eye, dude.
After we get back from our summer recess, maybe during the lame duck. Because they're on Senate time. Do you understand? You live around here. Senate time is ridiculous. These motherfuckers live to 200. They're tortoises. They live forever, and they never lose their jobs.
I think that was just a call out to McConnell there, dude. Fuck, man, he's going the fuck off. Holy shit.
Benefits, and they never lose all those things. Well, they're not on Senate time. They're on human time, cancer time. Don't you have families? Don't you have people who are deciding how to live their last moments? I know some of them. They've been down here advocating with us. They spent their remaining time advocating so that other soldiers didn't have to face the indignities and the depravity and the desperation that they faced. And none of them will hear it. And none of them care. Except to tweet. Boy, they'll tweet it. Can't wait to see what they come up with. on Veterans Day, on Memorial Day. Well, this is the reality of it.
Really powerful speech.
Damn. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. I mean, I fucking, like, see a lot of this shit myself, because there's an American Legion post not too far away from me, actually, and there's a few vets that come in often that, frankly, don't look much different than a lot of those fucking people. And who broke them? Not themselves.
Oh, my
Pretty much the same motherfuckers that, you know, want to cry about the slush funds that actually want to fucking help them. That's why, honestly, it brings a tear to my eye, because honestly, I was seeing a lot of, you know, faces that I, you know, see myself, like, almost every fucking day. Like, honestly. And it's like, how fucking broken they got, you know, for this shit.
You don't support the troops, you support the war machine. That is precisely correct. Because they're happy to use troops for propaganda purposes to cultivate support for their wars, but when it comes time to actually responsibly...
I feel bad for not turtles, tortoises. But yeah, I feel bad for him too for having such a resemblance to that motherfucker, dude. Seriously. Honestly.
To survive the war, take care of them, they're nowhere to be found. It's truly despicable. Truly despicable. Now, I'm glad that Jon Stewart made that point, because nobody is really making this point. We talk about the deficit all the time, or we hear about the deficit being talked about in mainstream media. How can we support healthcare expansions? How can we support, you know, reducing the cost of prescription drugs when we have this out-of-control deficit and inflation? But when it comes to the military budget, it gets expanded all the time, and there's just never any concerns about that, and that is infuriating to me. So I'm glad that he's making this point where everyone can see it. And Jon Stewart is really good at raising the salience of particular issues, because nobody was paying attention to this particular issue.
So you want to fuck that turtle? Man, I wouldn't even touch that thing with a fucking 10-mile pole, let alone a 10-foot one, dude.
I just wish, my only request really from Jon is that he would expand what he advocates for. You know, talk about trans rights, talk about the lack of universal health care in this country, which leads to tens of thousands of people dying every single year. These are things that he alone, I think, could raise the salience of. I think that he's actually that influential as a political figure. Now, I want to...
I mean, sure. I mean, I suppose one step at a time. I mean, you know, at least, you know, when it comes to his advocacy and shit, because his heart's in the right spot. Like, I mean, and especially when it comes to, like, veterans and shit, like, this definitely seems like a very hyper-passionate fucking issue for him. I mean, in a lot of ways it is for me myself, because, like I said, I fucking see, you know, a lot of faces that don't look that much fucking different from, like, that old guy that was kind of talking in the background a little bit. Like, that dude looks like, you know, honestly, a guy that looks like, a dude who comes into my work. He has this big old jean jacket all patched the fuck up with, you know, things that are, like, you know, veteran-related, you know, from the Legion Post 2 that I was mentioning, and a bunch of other shit, too. And, you know, it's like, I mean, really, like, honestly, it just looked like he was just an older version of him, really. I mean, and it's like, and honestly, just, you know, seeing some of the other people in the background, they looked, you know, not that much different, you know, to a lot of other people I've seen, you know, off and on. Because these people are everywhere, and it's just like, and, you know, and just like, you know, really, frankly, everyone else that's in the underclass and shit, they especially get, you know, fucked more, you know, by the system, because they're pretty much expected to just, you know, be sent overseas and hope they die, just so that, you know, when they come back, they don't have to take care of them, because if you do, they're not going to anyway. They're gonna cry about how it's all, like, slush funds or, you know, just wasteful spending and shit, and they, you know, can't afford it.
Two more for you. The first is of Jon Stewart going on Newsmax. So he's going on every platform to get out the message.
Really?
And he really shows you how it's done. Because the right-wing pundit on Newsmax tried to run interference for Republican senators, but Jon Stewart shot that shit down brilliantly. Let's watch.
But I did want to point out, just to push back a little bit on this, so the Republicans, when you say...
Like I was just in his car.
They do not support veterans. The Republicans push back, saying there is unrelated spending within this.
It's not. It's just not true. What they're saying is they don't like that it's mandatory as opposed to discretionary. there isn't unrelated spending to it. They're saying there could be if there wasn't oversight, but that's what the Senate's job is. The bill itself is incredibly detailed and prescriptive about what it's for. It's about treating and preventing the different conditions that veterans are coming home with, including cancers and chronic bronchiolitis and all these other issues from their exposures in Iraq and Afghanistan. And to push back on what they're saying, what if this creates a slush fund, right? So are you familiar with something called the OCO, the Overseas Contingency Operations Fund?
Fairly, yes.
So every year,
I doubt it.
$50 billion, $60 billion, $70 billion is added to what's called the OCO, on top of the $600 billion, $700 billion, $800 billion that goes to the Defense Department. That OCO fund is actually a slush fund. $60 to $70 billion every year, no oversight, no guardrails. And every one of those Republicans that voted against health care for veterans voted for the slush fund for the war. They don't support the troops, they support the war machine. And that's got to stop. The value in the U.S. military isn't in the toys. It's not in the hardware, it's not in the tanks. It's in the men and women. And until they start supporting them in the manner that they purport to online,
yeah,
they are hypocrites.
It is.
That was brilliant.
I like how the other guy's like, yeah. So, anyway, can we move on, please? Like he was trying to butt in there a little bit there, trying to be like, all right, you're done. Okay.
That to you.
You're making too much sense.
That's what you're supposed to do if you go on right-wing news shows, right? There's this debate on the left about whether or not it's acceptable for people who were formerly on the left,
God damn it, Mike, stop uploading,
to go on Fox News. And the answer is, it's fine if you go on Fox News, but only if you forcefully push back and get out the left message. If you just go on that program and you recite what they want you to say, if you be their useful idiot, that can be harmful. But what Jon Stewart did here by going on a far-right news outlet is he rebutted their points. He didn't play ball with them. That clip.
Yeah, honestly, that is, something that needs to be like a key factor when going on like right-wing platforms and shit. Like Teacher kind of recently did that in that weird 401 like centrist circle jerk show of whatever the fuck that was. Like honestly, like I still don't know like what the hell like those dudes were, like Mahler, Actual Just Sawyer, Sitch or something. I don't even fucking know. Like it just seemed like the biggest centrist circle jerk I've ever seen in my life. But like I mean, you had like TJ go there, challenging their shit a little bit. Not like in the debate sense, but just when talking with it, not playing their ball when it comes to shit. Like, and I know Kyle was on Fox, I think twice at least, and did the same shit there. Jon Stewart here. It's like, if anything, it's a very potent tool when done correctly. So, because if you have a lot of people in that audience, it's not really about like the pundit or the person you're talking to change the mind of. It's more so the audience. Like, because there's going to be a lot of people that be like, oh, well, yeah, maybe this person does make sense. Let me check them out. And then they eventually kind of open their perspective a little more by checking that person out a little further. It kind of goes in tandem with, like, the whole, like, building the bridge type of shit that we were talking about the other night. Just because, like, it's at least one form of it. Like, when it comes to indirectly trying to reach people out, when it comes to, like, platforms like this and shit, I mean, especially at least when it comes to the pundits or like the main hosts of the show that you're going on, don't play their fucking ball, because the whole idea is to try to open that message out, or at least your message out towards that audience, and at least get some gathered from that net, cast the net and pull up, and you're going to get at least something from it. A lot of them probably going to slip right through, but there's going to be a couple little fat bastards that are going to stay in that net.
That he was getting his message across and not allowing them to do propaganda at the behest of GOP senators. Now, one more clip that I want to show you is from a veteran on MSNBC who had a particular message for Republican Senator Pat Toomey.
Republicans love the soldier, but they don't love the veteran, and that's the bottom line. And again, politics and game playing at the cost of human life is unacceptable. And no matter what the issue is in this country, Americans don't have to put up with it. I don't care if you're far right or far left. This is not about politics right now. This is about human life. So those who are going to tweet and text me and email me and say, I'm this and I'm that. I am a human being. I'm a human being before I am a Republican or a Democrat. I am a human being before I'm an American. And when human beings suffer, and you do not get involved and watch that suffering, you're as guilty as the party who is pushing out that suffering. And enough is enough. And to watch Lou Alvarez and Ray Pfeiffer and others, you know, Andrew, I've been to 191 funerals. Soon I'll be going to my own. And the fact that we have to continue to fight for veterans or first responders is proof that the Congress and the Senate in this country do not get it. And the American people should be fed up like Jon Stewart, John Field, and all of the VSOs. Pat Toomey said yesterday that the VSOs wanted him to block this bill. Every VSO organization was at that press conference today, and nobody stood with Pat Toomey. He's a liar. His wife should divorce him. His dog should bite him. And he should when he leaves.
I did not expect that. His wife should divorce him. His dog should bite him. Okay, this guy's...
That was incredible.
Okay, I gotta hear that last part.
When he leaves and retires because he's a piece of shit.
That was incredible.
Damn, dude. I did not expect that ending. Holy shit.
So look, I don't have much commentary to add here. I think that what Jon Stewart and his veterans are doing is really important. They're really creating a blueprint, or perhaps a potential blueprint, assuming this is successful. But I think that he will have a degree of success here, because before he has shamed Republicans sufficiently enough to get them to buckle, and I think that he could possibly do this again, because by him going to the Capitol, having this speech, powerful speech, you know, you're getting mainstream media coverage.
And also, especially if, like, one thing that is, at least with the more conservative-leaning base in this country, is one thing that they're all hyper gung-ho about is support the troops, you gotta support our veterans, brother, you know, and all that shit. What got me is the dog should bite him. Dude, that's what got me too, dude. That's what got me, dude. As soon as I heard that, man. His dog should bite him. I'm like, dude, I don't know if he's from New York, but, like, I feel like I heard a New Yorker accent start coming out. I feel like he like, dude, that just sounds like a total New Yorker response. Oh my god, because he really, I think he's a New Yorker. He just kind of strikes me as one, and I love it. My goodness. What was I about to say?
How it's done. It's sad that the only way to accomplish anything, even incremental policies like this policy, which is incrementalist, you know, it's sad that you have to shame politicians into doing the right thing, but this is where we're at in our so-called democracy.
And now I just remembered about the whole, like, you know, I mean, okay, now I just remember about, like, you know, like, one thing that about, like, conservative, at least when it comes to the conservative base, is, like, their whole, like, sport truth thing, right? It's, like, especially if you're on, like, far-right, you know, type of things, especially what Jon Stewart's doing, what, like, some of these vets are doing, going on these platforms and putting that message out there and shit. It's gonna definitely appeal to a lot of the, you know, what would be like a lot of Republican constituents, and thus they'll probably be like, why are you going against the troops on this? Boo! I mean, it's not likely, you know, to be, you know, 100%, you know, guaranteed, but the likelihood of at least, you know, some people within, you know, the Republican constituency would probably likely be like, what the fuck, brother? You're not supporting our troops there. Thought you were a patriot, you goddamn rhino. So it's just like, I mean, it's kind of like playing, like, it's using their ball against them almost at that point, where it's like you swipe the ball away from them, and then you, like, shove it in their face. So, you know, in a sense, it's like, here, do you really want to play with your ball? Here, have it then, motherfucker. I'll play with my ball.
You want by voting for politicians and crossing your fingers that they're going to do the right thing. They're corrupt, they're sellouts, and they're cruel. So in order to get them to do your bidding even a little bit, you have to shame them relentlessly. So if we as Americans learn from this, and we have solidarity and we join together to shame politicians on other issues, and we're overwhelming in our condemnation, perhaps we could be successful as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think, you know, at least when it comes to bringing that message out there, I think a lot of the general, like, foundation of that, you know, is kind of being built by a lot of the veteran activist groups around here in the country and shit. And, you know, like I've said, I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of them because there's a lot of vets around here and shit. So it's just like, I mean, this is definitely an important issue for me too, especially being staunchly anti-war like I am, because, I mean, when I look at veterans, I basically just see someone who's a victim of the military-industrial complex. You know, it just in a different way. In that way, it's just they're being, you know, used as a pawn, you know, for them, and, you know, people overseas tend to be the victims of it by getting bombs dropped on them. Both are victims, but in different ways. Doesn't mean, like, you know, some of the people that are veterans, you know, that come back are all like, you know, all totally broken. Some of them, you know, do kind of come back, you know, like a Chris Kyle, where they're all like, yeah, I love my service, and I go back there and do it again and again and again. You know, and all that shit. You know, like, there's definitely people like there that exist, but they seem to be a lot more of an exception than the rule. And those fucking crazy nuts, you know, deserve to be called out when they happen to, you know, show their face and stuff. But honestly, on the general level, I mean, vets aren't like that, especially from my own experience. I saw another Humanist report if it get uploaded there. Oh, it's a premiere, huh? It's still premiering. Why the Manchin Schumer climate bill is great for the fossil fuel industry. Well, no shit. Wow, I love how I actually got a little bit debated partially there. I was like, great. Yeah, sure. Still premiering though. God damn it. I'm just gonna wait for it to finish premiering. Why premiere that, but just directly upload the others? Yeah, whatever. Probably a long one. Oh, I kind of need to load that. You know what? I want to see what the temperature's like right now. I don't like what I'm about to see. Oh, wow, it's at, it was like 91, but then I refreshed it, and 94. Feels like 98. Ugh. Gross. Lame. How much for fan art of Ignore You from Mitch McConnell? A small loan of $1 million. Like, I don't even want to fucking have that as, like, art of my, like, character. No, I don't want that. Still too hot. Dude, 84 is, like, my limit. Like, mid to lower 80s is tolerable. Like anything, like, where it's at right now is pretty much, like, kind of, like, the max limit. I still have to go grab my paycheck and re-up at this bow and shit, but I mean, that's at least not that far away, so I don't have to, like, walk far or nothing. Zuka! Where are you? Bye. Are you just around that corner just sitting over there? Oh, what the hell? Where did he go? You know what? This door's closed. He's in here, isn't he? There you are. You hid yourself in there. You locked yourself in there in the laundry room. What the hell? You goof. You goofball. Look at you. You locked yourself in there. You goofy boy. Look at you. Come here. Come here. What the hell? Come here. Come here. Get over here. Get over here. Come here. Get over here. Get over. Oh my god, why is this always a struggle with you? Get over here. Come here. Get over here. Come here. Come here. Oh my god, you're a prick. It's not 5 here, feels like 102. Ugh. Gross. You're on a meltdown here from all the triggering he would have from the culture shock. I think the heat in itself will do that to me. Let alone the fucking... the culture shock. I think the culture shock shit is the least of my concerns. Oh, that premiere video ended. Yo, it wasn't even that long. Like, it was actually shorter than the one we just watched. Okay. But either way, here we go. Now that we got this premiere finishing out of the way, now we can just watch it in full totality. So it feels like 95, 11 degrees higher. As I said, I don't care if you open it automatically. I'm not making Edge my default browser. 72 in Southern California. How's it actually like cooler there than it is up here? How is it cooler in like Southern Cal than it is up here in PDX, dude? Man, you fucking Californians, man, you piece of shit. You know, it'd be a car carrying conservative for 30 minutes if you tried the Southern delicious food, dude. I've had Southern delicious food. I've been to Texas. I've had their food, dude. I've had some of that good old Southern barbecue. That good old Texan barbecue, tell you what, brother. It's good eating. Honestly, they would like try to like almost force feed me at times. Not literally, but they would just be like, whenever they would serve me food, it would just be like a shitload. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can eat this. I'd have to like sit there for like twice as long as everyone else. Just, you know, just at like the last half of it just kind of grazing a little bit, because I'm like, damn, I have to like let some of it process through my digestive tract before I start refilling it. Ugh. Anyway, here.
I'll be honest, I hesitated on whether or not I wanted to talk about the deal struck between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer in the Senate, because by the time you see this video, the bill could already be dead. By the time you see this video, there could be additional provisions that make it even worse. By the time you see this video, a lot could change. And we've been here before. I've talked about so many deals, potential deals, that Joe Manchin has struck with Democrats, only to find that weeks later he comes up with some excuse, or he got offended by Democrats, and he decided to tank it unilaterally. So, to talk about this...
Or he's just basically paid to do that.
It's a little bit irritating to me, but I had to do it because this tacit assumption in the media that we're seeing that Manchin is now all of a sudden some sort of a hero, I can't let that stand. So
what?
What's in
what?
Well, ultimately, this is a mixed bag if you're a leftist. It has undeniably good provisions within this bill, but there are a lot of poison pills that might make it more harmful than anything. But first of all, let's get to the good in this bill. And these are surprising details here that Manchin at least temporarily agreed to. As HuffPost explains, the proposal would raise $740 billion by instituting a 15% minimum corporate tax rate, beefing up the Internal Revenue Service's enforcement of tax laws on the ultra-wealthy, narrowing the carried interest loophole which allows hedge fund managers and other wealthy investors to pay lower taxes, and requiring Medicare to negotiate the prices of some drugs directly with manufacturers, leveraging the social insurance program's massive buying power to wring savings from drug makers. It then spends a historic $369.
Alright, so I mean, so far it doesn't, like, these are the good parts of it, I'm assuming. I mean, it doesn't sound terrible. I mean, if it was just that shit by itself, it'd actually be alright. I'd be like, alright, some decent stuff by two ghoulish little goons, but no, obviously there's caveats, so I'm holding my breath here. Well, not holding my breath, I should say.
Democrats say will be enough to cut carbon emissions in the United States by 40% before 2030 and put $64 billion toward extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act for 3 years. The remaining $300 billion will go toward reducing the deficit, a priority for Manchin. The new proposal would also cap a Medicare patient's out-of-pocket expenses at $2,000 per year. Now, keep in mind, that's the more rosy portrayal of this legislation. These are very, very incrementalist steps towards addressing climate change, towards addressing, the pharmaceutical price gouging issue in this country, but nonetheless, these are undoubtedly good things. But even if we were to get this and Manchin held strong, there's an almost overwhelming certainty that Kyrsten Sinema is going to be the one that tanks it, because there's one provision.
Of course, there's always, that's why,
that has previously been a non-starter for her.
This bitch.
As the Prospect's Alex Salmon argues, there's absolutely no way Sinema is on board with ending the carried interest loophole, barring...
Is there anything she's on board with when it comes to, Democratic shit, or Democratic Party shit? Has she actually been, on board of, anything?
Change in her personality on the level of divine intervention. So this just seems like a nice diary entry from Manchin about things he likes.
Divine intervention.
Yeah. So, Sinema, at the time that I record this video, she has not commented on whether or not she'd support this. Her staffers are saying that she wants to read into it, and we still don't know if corporate Democrats in the House, such as, Josh Gottheimer, for example, are going to support this. So, it seems up in the air, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that Manchin himself could step away. We don't know. There's so many uncertainties that it seems like this is doomed to fail. So basically, I'll believe it when I see it. But assuming this was able to pass, let's talk about the poison pills, because these are very, very harmful provisions. Now, this bill is being labeled as a bill that would, expand our investments in clean, green, renewable technology, solar, wind, hydro. But
I have a feeling that it doesn't.
Overall, media probably won't report on these provisions. So the Center for Biological Diversity, they went through the bill and they found two really, really bad provisions in particular. As Common Dreams reports, those sections 50264 and 50265 mandate oil and gas leasing in the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska and bar the federal...
Mandated, huh? Okay, yeah, that's going to help the climate, don't it?
Federal government from authorizing new wind or solar energy development, quote, unless an onshore oil and gas lease sale has been held during the 120-day period ending on the date of the issuance of the right-of-way for wind or solar. Holy shit. CBD stressed that Section 50265 would require the Interior Department to offer at least 2 million acres of public lands and 60 million acres of offshore waters for oil and gas leasing each year for a decade as a prerequisite to installing any new solar or wind energy.
So what? Oh my god. Oh yeah, these aren't just poison pills. These are this is just straight up cyanide. What the fuck? Jesus.
On Thursday, that those poison pills
It's oh yeah, those good positive stuff did sound too bad. Oh yeah, here's that cyanide, by the way, that's in that little salad of yours. It's just oh yeah, thanks. Dude, let me just bite into the 2 of those capsules, why don't I?
Sides of the measure, including the legislation's tens of billions of dollars and proposed green energy investments. So let's be really clear about what this is. This is not Joe Manchin having a sudden change of heart. This is Joe Manchin finally agreeing to the terms of a climate change bill because it sufficiently delivers for his donors in the fossil fuel industry. What a joke. This show...
wow. Go fucking figure. No wonder he was, obviously gun-ho for it and shit, because, yeah, essentially just basically here, we'll guarantee that the fossil fuel industry basically has rights to the land before wind or solar, and then after those leases and time periods are up, then they can have some renewable stuff. But no, oil and gas first. Fuck you. It's wow, go fucking figure. And, 60 million acres of, offshore lands and shit like that. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a very, just a small amount. It's just, one tiny little region, in the corner of our, shores and stuff like that, and just, a tiny little blip, of our land. It's not that much. Don't worry about it.
is fundamentally incapable of taking climate change seriously, because when they finally
no, my sarcasm.
choose to invest in climate change and mitigating the damage that it will cause, well, they have to simultaneously do more damage, because that's how corrupt our public officials are. It's genuinely disturbing. And now, to have this shitty bill and Joe Manchin being paraded by media as a fucking hero is absurd to me. And to make matters worse, Joe Manchin is now bemoaning how he was ostracized and victimized for killing
Oh my god. Man, I like, if he actually feels ostracized and victimized for being called out, then oh my god, then what is actually being, like, shamed and heckled in public look like to you, you fucking little pig dog? Oh my god.
Now that people view him as a hero, so perhaps they'll be more sympathetic towards his victim complex. I mean, what a fucking joke. But don't worry, Manchin, if this passes, even if this bill is destructive, we don't know if it's more destructive overall or more good overall. We don't necessarily know.
It just straight up sounds far more destructive than it is positive, so I don't know. Just based on what I was just hearing on it.
Watchdogs to assess the damage that this bill will cause and whether or not, it's a wash or if it's more harm than good. But Manchin's career will be rehabilitated and he'll be praised as some sort of a hero for all of eternity because he finally agreed to do something. And that's assuming this gets passed. Again, cinema might tank it. Now, I think that whether or not this...
The black sheep idol, fucking goes from Manchin to fucking cinema, which both of them had it, but he's like, here, you keep it. You have the rest of it. Like, that's essentially what he's doing. He's trying to, like, shed off whatever, like, black wool of his, black sheep nature off to her and basically be like, here, you be the demon of the Democratic Party now.
By the left requires a lot of nuance, right? The question that we have to ask ourselves, that we're unfortunately forced to ask ourselves, is, will this bill yield more good than harm? Are we in the situation where this is the best that we can get before Democrats potentially lose power in the fall? Or is this potentially going to be counterproductive because we get climate legislation and investment in clean technology, and then they'll think that, oh, well, we did it, we're done. So they'll use this as an excuse to not take further action when it comes to climate change.
Of course it's got to be used as an excuse.
Unquestionably be necessary.
Like, half measures are basically an excuse to be like, see, we did something, get off our back. Just vote for us some more. Maybe we'll do it again.
And I think the answer is I don't know. Overall, I'm leaning towards fuck this bill. It's just there's too many poison pills, and to do more environmental damage, even if you're investing in clean, green technology, to do that much more drilling, it shows you they're not taking this seriously and it could do more harm than good. But I do want to share Ryan Grimm's perspective, because even if he acknowledges the poison pills with this legislation, he has a pretty complex and detailed approach to this as to why this might be more good than harm. So let's get his take here. He writes, climate hawks will criticize the bill for its energy neutral approach. The kinds of subsidies made available for clean energy are supposed to be available to projects that clean up dirty energy too, and cleaning coal is seen by many as a ruse actively deployed to stall the transition to clean renewable energy. However, looking at the reality of our energy infrastructure, fossil fuels are going to be with us for a very long time. Reducing and or sequestering their carbon emissions during the transition is essential. It's the unfortunate reality we've been dealt. If this money can spark some exponential technological development in that direction, we'll all be better off. Secondly, if all that fails and the carbon tech stuff is all fluff, subsidizing it was still worth the payoff to Manchin to get the clean energy money, because there was no other way at this point. If Republicans take Congress next term, there's no telling when...
Alright, I'm not buying it.
The window might open again. And third, it seems like Manchin extracted concessions that could make permitting future fossil fuel projects easier. That's bad, but those are fights to be had in the future against a win today. So I think that Ryan Grimm raises some really good points, but overall...
No, not really. It's like basically just like, oh, hope that, some tech gets invested in research and developed from it, and just like, we have, those fights will be, done later, in the future when we have to have them then, and just... Yeah, I'm not exactly sold on that, incremental optimism going on there.
There's a lot of ifs. A line from, Ryan Grimm's writing stood out to me. If this money can spark some exponential technological development in that direction, we'll all be better off. But that's a big if. So at this point in time, this ultimately is something that he's agreeing to because it benefits his corporate donors. He would not agree to this bill if it didn't sufficiently benefit his corporate donors. Keep that in mind. So I'm against this. I'll just be honest, I don't support this. But I will wait and I'll be open-minded about what environmental groups have to say about this. We haven't heard from all of them, but I want to hear their assessments because they know more than all of us. But at the same time, trying to determine whether or not this bill is good could be moot because Cinema could come in and crush it, or Manchin could crush it himself. So that's where we're at in the United States,
which wouldn't really help if this whole idea of trying to rehabilitate his image.
That we can.
I guess it might not matter because they'll just be like, well, he proposed it, he started it up, everyone else fucked it up, and that's why he went against it. Yeah.
Investment in clean, green, renewable technology means we have to also further destroy the planet. Now, if you put aside the climate considerations, then the other good things like, negotiating some pharmaceutical prices, expanding Obamacare subsidies, I guess you could, consider that in your process as well. It's all incremental, but still it's objectively good, better than what we've got. But, I mean, this isn't what is going to save the planet, unfortunately. So
I don't really think like some legislative bills are going to be the thing to do that. It's going to take literally like a total revigorization of like how society functions, to do that shit, frankly, at this rate. Which, that ain't going to happen, so, yeah. So, I mean, it's more or less just, having to try to like adapt and overcome, especially technologically, to it. And just hope that we could sustain ourselves long enough, I guess, to potentially make like orbital habitable zones or something. I don't fucking know. Like something. Something that could at least make this place a lot more fucking, more sustainable and shit, for a habitable life. At the very least. Problem with environmentalism is 1 step forward, 2 miles back. Yeah, this is always the fucking problem with it. I will be conservative when I conserve that ass. Damn. Well, guess I'm conservative now. Guess I just came damn conservative now, son of a bitch. Goddamn. But yeah, I just, like, frankly, especially considering, what is in there, even despite, like, the first, like, little positive thing I was mentioning earlier was like, okay, I mean, that actually is decent, but it's like, yeah, but it's like one of those things just like, but that's what the cost. Because, yeah, like, I mean, the cost-benefit, like, there's a whole aspect of cost-benefit analysis, and, I don't know, the costs of the benefits of what are in there are just beyond extreme. I get more conservative in my 30s. Oh, I've forgotten that, too. Don't worry. You'll hear that from people. I just got told you can be conservative in your 30s. I mean, yeah, likely not. It's like you hit 30, it's like, well, I guess I'm a Dave Rubin conservative now. Here, let's see what random shit's on tube to check out at least a little later tonight. Still need to grab my money. And this bell. My very short errand run. And I really don't know if I want to take him to the walk just because of how hot it is. He doesn't look like he's really in the mood for it either. He's just like, Look like a plop. You're all plop the fuck out, bro. What a goofball. But here. And I think there's a... Did I pretty much check out all the humus report videos of today? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, I guess when I come back we can see what's up in Ration National and shit like that. Plus, I know TJ will probably do his daily vid. Though that's likely going to be far more later in the evening, knowing his ass. I'm also wondering, do I want a burrito? Oh, ignore the rational, my national. I don't even know if that makes sense. Like, what? Rational, your national. Oh, okay. What, like, rationalize the fucking national weird goofiness that happens in Alabama? Yeah, let me try to rationalize that. Yeah, okay. What are you doing? Just got a little ear flipped over. Oh. But anyway, I'll go grab my money and my weed and groceries and more tea and other goodies, and hopefully stay cool, because Jesus Christ, I should have done this more earlier in the afternoon when I was awake, because fuck, by the time I'm out here now, I'm at like the peak of the heat. Oh my god, wow. I fucked myself with that, but whatever. At least I don't have a long walk. So, either way. I'll be back later tonight, so peace out.